So, you know, I mean, you don't. I'll even admit. Now, I I guess I consider myself lucky. Yeah, I consider myself lucky. And the only reason why I say that is because, like I said, family members. I'm not mentioning any names. I'm not going to do that. But I know that these things exist. And it's not from my personal experience, but it's from experiences people have told me. Like people who don't lie, have no reason to lie. They wouldn't lie to a child. And when I was a child, when I knew about this stuff, and the weirdest thing is for some reason, okay, I always say this, there's something special about a child's mind. Like a child has not been brainwashed enough to automatically dismiss something that they're told. They're open to the idea of its existence, whether it's true or if it's not. And that's a vulnerable thing. That's not a good thing in a way, but it is a good thing in a certain other way. That they actually would believe something that is true. Because if you tell a grown person, "Oh, this is here," you can even warn them, be like, "Okay, don't go out here and do this because this could happen," right? They're gonna say, "So you mean to tell me if I send my girlfriend out there on a period, she's gonna get raped by a Bigfoot?" See, that's what I mean. To someone else, that sounds insane. They're like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Or are you on drugs? Get a life, grow up." But knowing what I know, that exactly might happen. Your girlfriend goes missing. That's horrible, but it can happen. Just saying, it can happen. It can happen. So what I'm saying is, I know these beings exist. It doesn't matter how weird or crazy or sci-fi it sounds, or how funny it sounds, or how they're real. They exist, and they can somehow even. This is a crazy thing too. Just because you think you live in an area that is more rural, more urban, more this, more that, and you think there's no way something like that could literally just walk in my house or just be in my yard, or yes, they can. They absolutely can. They absolutely can. They absolutely can. It's just like how do I say this? You ever see those old cheesy stupid movies like from the 80s or 90s, and let's say, I don't know, let's say there's like a literal monster in someone's basement or something. What I'm trying to say is that could exactly be real. That's what I'm really trying to say. That could exactly happen. Okay? That could happen. It rarely ever happens, but it can happen. And if you don't believe it, that's okay, but I'm just telling you the truth. People say, "Oh, portals don't exist. There's no way that a portal could exist and something could come out of." No, I'm telling you right now, yes, it could very well happen. It could happen. Like I said, it could be your base. It could be anything. It could be anywhere. It could be a basement. It could be a sewer. It could be anywhere that you kind of could imagine that one of these things could manifest itself through somewhere and be physical and come out of anywhere. You know what I mean? And it could be whatever it is. So I'm telling you, this is how this shit works. People don't want to believe it, but this is exactly how it works. It's not common, but it can happen. Just saying, it can happen, right? People don't want to believe it. But I was also gonna say that the funny thing is, like, it's hilarious because it sounds comical, but often when I think of these hominids or these Bigfoot or something, it actually reminds me of of all things actually the Wookiee from Star Wars. It kind of reminds me of obviously the design of the way the Wookiee looks. If they were trying to emulate a Bigfoot, they kind of got it all wrong actually. But the thing is, just the concept of a very warrior-like, extremely massive, strong alien being that you wouldn't think would ever have had technology if you just looked at it. You would never think it was as intelligent as it is. You would never imagine that it could have like armies, it could have a social structure, it could even have crafts. You would never think that in some area or some way or even in some time in history that something like that could be like that and could literally be out in the woods with a number of them at a certain time. You would think, oh, that's sci-fi. That sounds like a movie. That's what you would think, right? But it's fucking real. That's the thing. It's fucking real. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to explain. Is that this is shit that you do see in sci-fi. You know, you see this big old thing. You know, this big muscled up thing with a friggin'. Sometimes they actually do have beards. You know, like a beard, mane, broad-shouldered, ape looking in the face, big old thing lumbering around. Um, this shit is real, man. This is what I'm saying. This shit is real. This is not some like sci-fi. It's Grendel from Beowulf. It's a troll. It's this. No, these are actually real things. This is what I'm trying to say. A lot of stuff that people see in movies and stuff that they see in sci-fi, there's very real things that are in reality that are similar to that. That's just the way it is, man. You don't have to believe it. Um, you don't have to believe it if you don't want to. But I'm just ranting on this because it's a real thing. Because it does the world better if people admit that it is. If people speak up on this, it's better. Do I think that I'm going to like change the world by talking about certain things like this? No. Hell no. People are trash. People are trash. No. People aren't even going to listen. They're just going to deem me as crazy or deem other people as crazy, and that's all. But see, the way I see it is, it's not that I'm trying to change the world. It's that I would rather have said something. Number one, it's because I can actually make content by talking about these things because what the fuck else am I going to talk about? Like, seriously, what in my life else am I going to talk about? I'm going to talk about the porn that I faffed to last night or something? You guys want to know that? I'm trying to think of what it even was. What was it? I can't remember. I think it was Alina West. At least probably the first time. I think it was some Alina West porn or something. But see, that's another thing. That's what you're about content. That's something. See, I talk about things like that on this channel. Other channels may not talk about that shit, but I do. So just for shits and giggles. But like I was saying, this is this is my podcast. This is my rant, right? So I'm explaining. I'm just laying this out for you in a way you can understand, right? think of it like this. Think of if there was something that you said, I could never believe that, right? There's just no way. Because you're told a certain thing. Like, for instance, you're told, I'll give you an example. You're told something like, okay, it works like this ABC. You're a kid, you become a man, you go to school, you get career, you find wife, you get married, you have kid, and you die, right? Well, imagine if that's not exactly how it always pans out. It could happen in a different order. You may never make it to an adulthood. You may die early. You may go missing. You know what I mean? You may have a horrible disease and you may not make it. Um, what I'm trying to say is this whole cryptid thing and disclosure thing is kind of like you thinking that you know exactly how life is. You think that you know everything that exists. You think you know what is sci-fi. You think you know what is reality. You think you know, but you actually don't. That's the truth. That's the simplest way I could really put it. Um, that's like the simplest way I can actually word it is that you may think you know, but you actually have no clue. And the main reason why most of us have no clue is because either one, maybe we have a crazy incident, or someone we know has an isolated incident that is abnormal, that is undeniably real, and they have no other place to go. You can't. It's like you can't run to the side and say, "I'm gonna escape this," and act like it's not even real. It's not happening because it's right in your face. It's in your house. It's in your home. So they're like, there's no hiding from this. That this is real. Then you have some people to where it's because your day to day never permits you to go outside of your own zone. So you're always in your house. You go to work, you come back home, you go to sleep, you get up and you repeat. You don't go out into remote areas, you don't camp, you don't hunt, you don't travel, you don't go across roads at crazy hours like 1 a.m., 2 p.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and even it could even be like 11 p.m. It could be actually any time, really. It could be 5 a.m. It could be any time, actually, because these things are alive all day. That's you have to realize they don't come to life at a certain hour. No, they may be seen more or less at certain hours, but they're alive like you and me all day and every day, taking shits, eating, and doing everything that we do all day. So the thing is that you just may never ever, just like myself personally, the only reason why I know I haven't had an encounter myself um with something at least that physical like that, I've had encounters with things I think were more on the astral type of, or spectral, like that type of thing, type of beings, but nothing that's that physical that was literally in my like immediate physical environment like this. I've never experienced anything like that myself personally, like by myself. But that's because I don't go anywhere. I don't have a vehicle. I don't go out camping. I don't do crazy long hikes. I don't go on crazy camping trips and hunting trips and stay out there in certain areas for lengths of time to so eventually or inevitably maybe I'll have an encounter with something. Even though I know they're there, I know they're there. I'm not stupid. You know what I mean? I'm not dumb. So and I'm not to brag, but a person like myself is already looking. Like I said, I'm already looking for certain things. I'm always looking for something because I'm always looking for signs of activity of anything. Like I said, situational awareness. As a martial artist, you have what's called situational awareness. So it means you don't just walk with your head in your ass when you get up off your feet and go somewhere. No, you're always looking, your head is always swiveling, your eyes are always moving. You're looking at every level. You're looking up high, low, in between. you're looking for everything. You're looking for tracks. You're looking for all types of shit, signs of anything. You know what I mean? You're looking for breaks, tracks, uh, silhouette, shine, shape, shadow, all of that shit. Okay, all of that shit. If you're a martial artist and you believe in personal protection, you're not just walking around with your head up your ass, right? When you leave your door, you're always listening, watching, smelling, looking. You're not just walking around with your head up your ass. And that's what I mean. So what I'm saying is a person like myself is already vigilant anyway. So it's already that I'm vigilant. That's all you can be is vigilant anyway. Okay? If you get my point when I say that, what I'm saying is you're not going to always catch everything. And not that you're like, what I'm saying is you're not superhuman. You're not it's not like anything can slip past you or anything can elude you. What I'm saying is you're already always looking. That's my point. Because you just don't know if an environment you're in guaranteed is 100% safe. Like how would you really know that? I don't know that shit. You know what I mean? I don't know. Somebody told me one time that somebody left the door open downstairs in the building I live all night long. Now anybody and anything could have walked in here at that point. I don't fucking know. A fucking bat came in here. Someone told me. Someone told me a literal bat came the fuck in the building and had to be scared out of the building by people. That's what I mean. That's my point. Is that you don't know what the fuck's going on. So you gotta look, listen, smell, everything. Look for signs of movement. Look for signs of um, people frequenting something. Look for signs of things. You know what I mean? Try to make connections, put two and two together, just to be extra safe because you don't fucking know. You know what I mean? How the fuck would you know? This is what I mean. So, like I said before, and I'm not one of those people either who looks at these things on some type of like uh high threat how do I say this? There's some type of evil being, there's some type of like sinister evil force that is always out to destroy people or no, I actually look at them a little bit different. I look at them more like they are some rough, when I say rough, I mean they can be peaceful. Now they can be peaceful, but I'm looking at them as their world is so brutal and so fast and so vicious sometimes that they have to be a certain way. So they're on some shit like, and this is kind of like something I heard of in and it's the truth. Uh, a guy that not raised that worked around uh big game predators pretty much of all sorts was explaining, and he's also a military person, so he gets the he gets the mentality of like how you like I said, you got to watch your ass. You know what I mean? Regardless of what it is, regardless if it's animals, people that you're around, you just have to be careful. Um, and it doesn't pay to have your head up your ass. It does not pay to have your head straight up your ass, not looking at anything, not just lazy, just slow and sloppy, and you're just like, that's not a good thing. Just saying. But this guy was explaining how he dealt with his encounter with an aggressive cryptid like it was a an animal, like a predator, like one of these big cats or wolves or whatever. And I've always believed exactly the way he said it. Like in their world, it's think of it like gorillas. That's a good example. You know how gorillas, it's like they know who the biggest gorilla is. They know who the alpha male is. They know who the dominant gorilla is, and they know if that they fuck with him, that he's gonna smash them, and it's not gonna be pretty. I've seen animal attacks. I've seen how like an animal will literally tear half of the whole face of another animal off, and that shit will literally be hanging. Like hyenas do shit like that. Wolves, and they do it as it's they made a statement. It's like a statement of dominance. It's a statement of don't you ever. It's almost like some jail shit. It's like literally if you were in jail or something, and you wanted to make a point like I'm not the soft motherfucker. I'm the motherfucker that'll body you. I'm the guy who will make you lose your vision in one eye. and you never want to fuck with me again, right? Animals are like that. That's what I mean. That's how animals are. Sometimes they are. I actually know a person to where one of their dogs inside the house maimed the other dog's eye in a little strap, and now that dog can't see out of his eye. It's the same shit. Listen when I'm fucking telling you this shit, because this is serious. These things are on some shit like that sometimes. To where you gotta understand, these things are big ass, 300 friggin' pound, solid muscle hulks running around. Like I said, when they get into a scrap or they get into this or that, sometimes it's not gonna be pretty. It's not, oh, I can go see the doctor and get this stitched up or fit. No. You get what I'm saying? So you have to understand that, like, you being your little human self, you're probably sweaty, you probably fucking smell like baloney. Do you think that that thing is gonna, like, be nice or gentle with you if it feels the slightest amount of, like, threat, or maybe you're in its territory? Maybe it's angry that you're even there. Maybe it's just a dick and it's a pissed off douchebag and it's a bully and it's like, you're in my area. For whatever reason, I'm just going to wall you up a little bit, and that's that, and you get the point, and just laugh at it. I'm telling you, that's the way these things are. Man. Not all the time, but sometimes that's the way they are. And the reason is because you got to think. Do you see any police out there? No, right? Do you see any cops out there? Do you see these things walking around with cell phones, calling the cops because they got their ass beat? No. This is they're very primitive. This is like survival of the fittest. This is like the laws of the fucking jungle. These things are literal freaking primates. They're like fucking gorillas. I'm telling you, this is the way they are. So they don't think on the level of, like, well, sometimes. I'm saying sometimes. But you gotta understand, they don't always think on the level of, well, maybe it was overboard that I literally broke that guy's jaw or her jaw and clawed them so hard in the face that, like, now they can't see out of their eye because the tissue has literally been damaged because I actually clawed. Like, they don't think that shit. They just, in like seconds, scrap, throw hands, and do whatever they have to do to make this little point, and then walk off, like, and smack their chest like, and that's, it's like they don't. So that's my point. You know, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like they're not quite like people. They can be now. The thing is, they can be. They can be like a person. Like, they can be courteous and stuff, and like, and have an understanding and be calm and even actually protect people at times and develop a liking towards. They can. But what I'm saying is, it's not always like that. It's not always like that, man. So it's a different type of world. And what I'm trying to say is, honestly, I think if they want, like I always say, is if they wanted to just abduct you or whatever, it's gonna happen. You're not gonna be able to stop them unless you literally have, like, withstanding. There's enough numbers. If you have, like, firepower, you have backup, you have multiple people with ammo, firepower, and maybe you could stop an assault by one of these things, or maybe, I don't know, maybe, or maybe not. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is, I think it would pay to just keep your eyes open. Like, because there could be just normal animals out there too, I guess, like bears, or, you don't know. You just don't know. You know what I mean? Just saying. So, like I said, we are not people, even like myself. Now, given in time, I will in some point go out and do some type of investigation, you know, with certain people, go out there and try to see if I could see anything, that whole thing. That's something that I want to do at some point in my life. Try to see what I could see. But like I said, at the end of the day, I know it's actually I know these things are real. So no one has to beat it over my head that they're real. Um, no one has to do that. No one has to try to teach me that these things are real because I know they are. And I already know so many other things are real. Like I was saying before, I'm a young Satanist, young occultist. I know that there are things that are very real that people would never think are real. You know, I'll even say this: your next door neighbor, your next door neighbor might have some freaky shit going on actually, because I'm telling you, you really don't know. Um, like what I'm saying is, you could literally have somebody in your neighborhood who I'll even go to the length of saying they are embedded in themselves with certain entities. Spiritual entities are attached to them or in them. You know what I mean? Um, and you may not even know. They may not even know. That's the actual. That I'll put it like that. They may not know. Like you have to ask the question: if you were possessed, right? And there's different types of possession. If you were possessed, you may not know. It really depends. You may never know. Because there's levels and there's types of things. Like you may not really know that. You may think, oh yeah, I go to bed every day and I wake up, take shit, wipe. I hope you wipe. May even want to take a shower, depending on what's really going on down there. You know, I just hope like you're like I do my thing. I go to work. Do you actually know what's going on with you? Really? Do you know what happens when you're not conscious? Do you even know? You don't know. You don't. You have to ask that question too. So I'm just saying that you know there's a lot of questions to be asked. And I'll also say one of the big things is we are all actually so poor. That's the real truth. We are poor because we are all surviving rather than thriving. That we're so busy, myself included, we're so busy trying to make our rent, trying to save money, trying to plot to get more money, trying to develop ways to create a lifestyle that we even can venture out into the realm of trying to discover these things, trying to, uh, how do I say this, more or less open up spiritual doors to things, trying to cultivate a certain lifestyle so that we can go on a path of like ascension and enlightenment and knowledge more about the world around us that we're not used to seeing. But we are so burdened with the burdens of like, you know, I gotta find a wife, I have to get married, I want to be happy, I want to have more money, I want to be able to have my own business, my own merchandise, my own this, my own that. That we're so busy with that because we don't have that money at all, that we don't really have time to do certain things. That's really the truth. We don't really have time because, like I said, we got to rush to work. Get up. People be getting up, taking a shit, drinking a freaking coffee, uh, showering, putting on work clothes, jumping in a fucking car, driving to some bullshit job, working for like half of their fucking day, going home, and then doing the same shit over and over again. So imagine how much area of wilderness and how much area of woods, things like that. Imagine what's going on there all that time when you're not watching. You know? Imagine those areas where we have literally no surveillance, nothing. Not even a military helicopter that is going over this place looking at things. Nothing. Imagine how many, like, just imagine. Imagine how many hours and minutes in a day there are going on. When things are happening there, this creature could be out there friggin' jacking off. I don't know. You could literally be standing there out in the middle of open in the field, just jacking off at 5 a.m. and it's like, and it's like nobody saw that, or it could be anything. They could, I don't know. They could be sitting there dancing around a goddamn campfire or something. These creatures, I don't know. And no one's noticing. No one's going to see that because there's no one there. There's no surveillance. There's nothing there. Nothing. This is what I mean. Like in this video about this like sort of tan, sort of wheat. That's the word. Wheat colored like creature that was like a dog that this lady saw, which she described as having almost like dreaded to matted, hanging like hair near its head, just hanging down. Darn thing's walking on its fingers, probably, with its stomach. It's what I love about the certain animals and some of these things. How could you imagine being able to have a spine that you could lift your spine up and suck your stomach in, and then you could also push your stomach to the ground, and where it probably could almost like touch the ground. It just seems like such a cool thing to be able to do, to be able to do something like that. But we can't. That's I mean, we're human beings. We don't have the anything to do that. But could you just imagine? Like, so she said at one point she heard chanting, and she assumed that it was this lady chanting, which it probably was. I believe the lady knew about these cryptids. Just saying, people like I said, like myself, occultists, pagans, we usually know right off that we know there's those things as well. We know that everything is together. We know that it's all one big world of existence. We already know that from the get-go. So we're not sitting out here like, oh yeah, that's strange. No, we already know. So I bet you she had a connection with these things. I bet she did. And this is something that is not proven, but I actually always believe this. I believe that those beings are more sensitive to the spiritual world. I believe that like if you are attracting, beings, entities to yourself, energies, things like that, like I said, if you're doing witchcraft, I believe that those things very quickly, just like an extraterrestrial could, just like a interdimensional being could, because they're on a certain frequency where they pick up certain things like we're not like that. They may be attracted to that. They may actually be attracted to that. Or at least they would be able to pick up on it. Just your run-of-the-mill average human being may pick up on that, actually. Maybe they sense a feeling of dread or cold or something, or maybe. But I believe those things are way more keen on that, you know? And I actually even believe this. Someone may think this is stupid, but someone may think this is dumb, but I actually believe this. I actually believe that some beings you may be working with would protect you from some of those cryptids, just because they have those abilities. Just saying, they have those abilities against people as well, but against animals and other things, I believe they easily do. What I mean by that is, like, for instance, if a being is aggressive towards you, a demon or something that you're working with may pacify that being, or they, to some degree, influence that being to where that being will be less likely to actually try to harm you. You know what I mean? Just saying. Just saying. You know? And I'll even say, the honest truth. Is there, somebody will say, like, oh, well, is there like some sort of inner working, or is there sort of world of darkness, like a generalized world of darkness, where there are vicious beings, there are vicious humans, demonic beings, and there's kind of an understanding and a hierarchy between them and us? Of course there is. Yeah, of course there is. I mean, of course there is. So what I'm saying is, like I said before, it could be someone even in your neighborhood. It could be your neighbor. Like energies mesh with like energies. So what I'm saying is, can there be a connection between certain interdimensional beings, certain extraterrestrials, certain demons, and certain actual people, to a point to where there's like more of a mutual kind of understanding between them? Like, are there such things as like vibrations and like currents and energies and things like that? Yes, there is. There 100% is. So that is a thing. And this is what I mean again about, like, people would say, "Oh, that sounds like sci-fi. Like, that sounds like the Lord of the Rings. What are you talking about? Like the Dark Lord drawing all evil to him? Or you talk like, the orcs are connected to the trolls, and then the trolls obey the witches, and the wizards or have control over the orcs and the trolls. Like, is that all just sci-fi? No. What I'm saying is, it's not that that's exactly how things work, but is there some reality in that? Yes, there is. There 100% is reality in that, whether you want to believe it or not. This is what I mean. This is how you can have someone who's an old witch that may even be known to be a witch, and they live out in the middle of nowhere, just like you see in little children's books and tales and stuff like that. They're like a hermit. They're living out in the middle of nowhere, and for whatever reason, these things, they may even be feeding these things, which does actually happen. They're feeding these beings. These beings are coming into their yard, coming on their property, never actually harming the people, the woman or man or whoever these people are, but they're more or less coexisting with them. You know what I mean? And they may even protect those people or witches or whoever they are. People say, "Oh, well, that sounds so sci-fi. There's no way. That sounds like a Netflix horror movie." Okay. Well, I'll put it to you like this: if you think it doesn't exist, that's fine, but it does exist. It does. That's what I'm trying to say. It all does. It does exist. You know. Matter of fact, it 100% exists.